My girlfriend said, "If you go to your best friend's bachelor party, I'll sleep with my ex." I just replied, "Do whatever you think is right." Then I went to the party and sent her a live photo of her ex hanging out with us, laughing at her after I had shown him her text. Christ on a unicycle. What a weekend. Never in my 29 years of mediocre decision-making did I expect to end up in Vegas with both my best friend and my girlfriend's ex united in brotherhood over how batshit insane she turned out to be. Buckle up, Reddit. This one's a doozy. For context, I'm Dave, professional sound engineer, amateur beer snob, and until approximately 72 hours ago, boyfriend of Megan, 28. We've been together for a little over a year, met through a dating app, bonded over indie music, and shared hatred for superhero movies. The relationship was pretty solid, or so I thought. Megan is intense, smart as hell, gorgeous and driven, but with the emotional subtlety of a chainsaw. When she's happy, the whole room feels it. When she's pissed, you'd rather be literally anywhere else. I found her passion exciting. My previous relationship was with the human equivalent of unseasoned chicken breast. But looking back, there were definitely some crimson banners I chose to ignore. For instance, she had this weird thing about her ex Trevor. They dated for 2 years before me, and according to her, he was manipulative, emotionally unavailable, and probably a sociopath. Yet somehow, his name came up constantly. Trevor got a promotion. Trevor bought a new car. Trevor was dating some basic __, who was definitely a downgrade. I never met the guy, but based on Megan's stories, I pictured some unholy combination of Patrick Bateman and that douchebag who peaks in high school and still wears his varsity jacket at 30. She claimed they weren't in contact, but would occasionally hear things through mutual friends. I never pushed it because, well, we all have our baggage. Now to present day, my best friend since kindergarten, Alex, is getting married in 3 months. He asked me to be his best man, which meant organizing his bachelor party. Being a good friend and a terrible financial planner, I decided on a weekend in Vegas with our core group of guys. Booked everything 2 months in advance, hotel suite at the Bellagio, dinner reservations at some fancy steakhouse, VIP table at a club, the works. The timing wasn't ideal. Megan had been stressed about a big presentation at work, and I knew she was counting on me for moral support. But the dates were locked in and Alex had planned his wedding around everyone's schedules. It was 3 days. She'd understand, right? Wrong. When I reminded Megan about the bachelor party, which to be clear, she'd known about for months, she went ballistic. "You're seriously leaving me alone the weekend before my presentation?" She demanded, like I'd announced plans to abandon her in the wilderness with nothing but a plastic fork. "It's Alex's bachelor party," I explained for what felt like the 50th time. "I'm the best man. I literally can't skip it. Rescue it. I can't reschedule an entire Vegas trip for 8 guys 2 weeks before we leave. Everything's paid for. So, your bromance is more important than my career? That's what you're saying?" And on it went. Every logical argument I made was twisted into me not caring about her, not respecting her work, not considering her feelings. The conversation devolved over several days with periods of cold silence, punctuated by renewed arguments. 3 days before the trip, she hit me with a nuclear option. We were at her apartment. I was trying one last time to talk through the situation like adults when she casually dropped this bomb. "Fine. You go to Vegas with your precious brothers. But just so, you know, I ran into Trevor last week, and he's been texting me. If you leave me alone this weekend, I'm calling him, and we both know what's going to happen." I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. It didn't come. Are you seriously threatening to cheat on me if I attend my best friend's bachelor party?" She shrugged, examining her nails. "I'm just letting you know what the consequences of your actions will be." That's actually insane, Megan. Is it? Or is it just me taking control of the situation you're forcing me into? I took a deep breath, counted to 10 in my head, and then heard myself say something I never expected. "Don't do anything I wouldn't do." She looked up, surprised. "What?" "You heard me. I'm going to Vegas. If you want to sleep with Trevor, that's your choice. Just know that choices have consequences, too." I grabbed my jacket and left before she could respond. Outside her building, I sat in my car for a good 20 minutes trying to process what the hell had just happened. Did my girlfriend really just threaten to cheat on me as leverage? And did I really just call her bluff? This wasn't like me. I'm a conflict avoider by nature. The Dave of 6 months ago would have caved, canceled the trip, and resented both himself and Megan for it. But something in me had snapped. This wasn't just about a bachelor party anymore. This was about basic respect and emotional manipulation. And Trevor, this phantom ex who had been living rent-free in our relationship from day one, I was sick of it. My phone buzzed with a text from Megan. I hope your trip is worth losing me over. I didn't respond. Instead, I did something that in retrospect was either brilliant or incredibly stupid. I looked up Trevor. It wasn't hard. I knew his last name, Williams, and where he worked, Goldman Sachs, from Megan's various rants. A quick LinkedIn search followed by some social media investigation, and I had a pretty good picture of the supposed sociopath. 30 finance guy, ran marathons, posted normal photos with friends and family. No obvious Patrick Bateman vibes. In fact, he seemed completely ordinary. We actually had a mutual connection. My cousin worked at the same firm, just in a different department. That explained why, when I messaged Trevor on Instagram, it didn't land as message requests, but went straight to his inbox. Hey man, you don't know me, but I'm Megan's boyfriend. I think we should talk. To my surprise, he replied almost instantly. Oh boy, what's she done now? His response caught me off guard. Not defensive or angry, just tired and knowing. I briefly explained that Megan had threatened to cheat on me with him, and he suggested we meet in person. We agreed to grab a beer the next day. Trevor showed up at the brewery looking exactly like his photos, tall, fit, dressed in the classic finance bro uniform of a button-down and chinos. But his demeanor wasn't what I expected. No smugness, no hostility. Just a guy who seemed genuinely curious about why his ex's current boyfriend had reached out. He was understandably cautious at first. Look, before we get into this, how do I know you're not just part of one of Megan's games? She sent friends to confront me before. I showed him the text messages from my phone, including her threat. The tension in his face eased immediately. Yeah, that sounds like Megan, he sighed, then ordered us both another beer. Let me guess, she's told you I'm basically Satan? I'll spare you the full play-by-play, but here's the summary. Trevor and Megan broke up because she cheated on him with a coworker. The mutual contact between them wasn't through friends. She'd been calling, texting, and even showing up at his place unannounced for the past 2 years. The so-called downgrade she mentioned turned out to be his sister's friend, someone he went on exactly one dinner date with. Trevor showed me screenshots of her increasingly unhinged messages, including some from just last week after she'd accidentally run into him at a coffee shop and tried to arrange a proper catch-up that I sat there, my beer untouched, as the reality of my relationship rearranged itself in my mind like a broken kaleidoscope. Trevor wasn't the villain. He was another victim. I actually tried to get a restraining order last year, he explained, showing me a folder on his phone, screenshots neatly organized by date. After she showed up at my parents' house during Thanksgiving, I went to the cops. They basically laughed it off. Pretty girl, heartbroken, didn't seem dangerous. But they told me to keep records, just in case. She told me you were manipulative, I said quietly. A sociopath. He let out a short laugh, without any humor. Classic projection, man. She is dangerous, just not in the ways people expect. By the end of our 2-hour conversation, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. Everything I thought I knew about my relationship was a lie. And yet, I also felt strangely relieved, like I'd been walking around with a low-grade fever for months and finally discovered the cause. As we got up to leave, Trevor looked at me sympathetically. So, what are you going to do now? That's when it hit me. I'm going to Vegas for my best friend's bachelor party, I said, and I'm wondering if you'd like to come. His eyebrows shot up. You're serious? Deadly. Alex won't mind. One guy dropped out last minute, so we actually have an extra bed. Honestly, I think we both deserve a weekend away after surviving Hurricane Megan. He hesitated, clearly torn. That's either the best or worst idea I've ever heard. But if I can get the time off, I'm in. And I'll pay my own way, of course. Obviously, I said, just let me know by tonight. I texted Alex to explain the bizarre situation. He replied almost immediately. As long as he covers the drop guy's share, the more the merrier. This is already the best bachelor party story ever. A few hours later, Trevor texted, "Boss approved the PTO. I'm in. Send me the details." The next day, we flew to Vegas. Trevor met us at the airport, having grabbed a last-minute ticket. He was a little reserved at first, but Alex quickly introduced him to everyone as Dave Surprise +1 with the best Megan stories. That broke the ice immediately. Turns out Trevor was great, funny, generous, and incredibly easy to talk to. By the second night, it felt like he'd been part of our group for years. That night, after a few too many drinks and losing a collective fortune at the blackjack table, I decided to finally respond to Megan. She'd gone from angry, "You'll regret this," to desperate, "Please just tell me you're okay," to manipulative, "I'm really struggling without you here. My anxiety is through the roof." Trevor, now fully part of the crew, leaned over my shoulder as I typed. "Too formal," he said. "She'll see right through that." "What do you suggest?" I asked. He grinned mischievously. "Take a group photo. Make sure I'm in it. Don't explain anything. Just send it." The guys, now completely invested, jumped in. We all posed at our VIP table, drinks in hand, Trevor front and center, his arm around my shoulder like we'd been friends for years. "Wait," Alex said. "We need to make it clear this isn't just some random dude." That's when his brother Jake had a genius idea. He grabbed a napkin, wrote Team Trevor in big letters, and held it up for the photo. We snapped a few shots, everyone laughing and pointing at the sign. I sent the best one to Megan with the caption, "Having a great time with my new friend." Turns out we have a lot in common. The reaction was instant. My phone blew up with calls I ignored, followed by furious texts. "What the actual F is that Trevor? Why is my ex at the bachelor party? Did you talk to him about me?" I showed the messages to the group, and Trevor nearly fell off his chair laughing. "She's always cared more about her image than anything else," he said, wheezing. We decided to go radio silent and just enjoy the trip. The next morning, I woke up to 37 missed calls and a novel-length email swinging between rage and self-pity. By midday, Trevor's phone started blowing up too. Apparently Megan had moved on to accusing us of sleeping together, by the final night. She'd gone completely nuclear, calling Alex's fiancé to warn her that the bachelor party had been hijacked by a sociopath. The fiancé, who already disliked Megan, simply replied, "Oh, didn't realize you'd crashed the party too." We immediately welcomed her into the anti-Megan alliance. Later, over dinner, Trevor got a text from his friend Craig. "Megan's telling people you kidnapped her to Vegas as part of some revenge plot." We laughed so hard the other tables complained. The next morning I called Megan. Trevor stayed nearby in case she twisted things. "Have you lost your mind?" she hissed. "Actually, I think I finally found it," I said. "You threatened to cheat on me with Trevor, but when I met him, I learned you'd been lying to both of us." Silence. "Then, he's manipulating you." "No, that's what you do. And I'm done. You'll regret this." "The only thing I regret is not ending it sooner." I hung up, feeling lighter than I had in months. Trevor nodded. "Welcome to the other side, man. It gets better." Megan tried a few more stunts, showing up crying in my apartment. She still had a key, spreading rumors I'd had a breakdown, even emailing me that she thought I was secretly gay for Trevor. I changed the locks and blocked her everywhere. 2 weeks later, the dust finally settled. Trevor and I are actually friends now. We grab beers, text, and laugh about the madness we survived. Alex's wedding is in 3 months, and Trevor's coming as my guest. Just friends, despite Megan's new theories. The wildest part? Trevor introduced me to a woman he's been casually seeing. Elise, smart, funny, works in audio engineering, and already helped me land a few clients. Sometimes life's chaos leads to the best connections. Turns out, the real villain wasn't the ex. It was the one in my bed all along, and oh, I didn't doubt Megan's version of events back then. She was convincing, emotional, intense, and always had a story that made Trevor sound like the villain. I noticed inconsistencies sometimes, but I brushed them off. For anyone saying this is fake, because no guy would invite his girlfriend's ex to a bachelor party. Trust me, once you realize you've been manipulated for a year, normal social rules stop applying. Also, Trevor paid his own way, and we had a last-minute cancellation. As for Megan having my apartment key, she used to water my plants while I traveled. I changed the locks the day we broke up. And no, I'm not diagnosing her with anything. I just know what I experienced was emotional manipulation, and I'm grateful I got out 3 months later. Life turned out stranger than fiction. Trevor's friend Elise and I became good friends. She even helped me land a sound design gig for an indie film that's now making festival rounds. Trevor and Elise are still together and getting serious.